Yeah. Um, Fire's got a sort of funny crack. Some of the back of the steel of it is cracking in my wood heater, which is a bit of a concern. It is old. I did get it for $150, which is very cheap. Not that I can't afford a new one, but I just sort of noticed it today. There's a bit of a crack in the back. Anyway, I want to make this video on something else. And what that is a myth that I hear over and over on YouTube by, one person who was thinking of giving up electricity because, financial troubles, and said, I couldn't live without my YouTube. And, I'm going to have to adjust to that if I don't have electricity. They're on the grid, by the way, these people. Another one I seen comment that said, I'm moving off grid now. I'm going to have to throw out all my electronics. I won't be able to use all my electronics. And I want to set a few things straight about electronics and living off the grid. And this may be a surprise to some people, probably not my regular viewers or those who are have watched the watt counting video. But yeah, of all the things that you will lose, your electronics is probably about the last to go when it comes to off-grid stuff. A lot of stuff I find that you just got to substitute one thing for the other, like, electric heating for wood heating. But as for electronics, my gosh, it is so versatile and you can buy so many things today that it is not an issue at all. For instance, I've been flicking through a catalogue that I got from the place that I buy all my solar panels and solar equipment from. And they have in there 12-volt adapters that are built to handle almost every laptop and every laptop plug and everything from, mini iPads, netbooks, right the way up to super duper big size laptops that are built for gaming and, and that. And they've got 12-volt adapters to suit the lot of them. One, I even think they've got 24-volt adapters for laptops, but they've got these ones that are, they've got like a 12-volt hookup. You have a cigarette lighter or little eyelets or something that hook to your battery. And then usually, though, it's actually just a cigarette lighter plug. And then that'll go to a multitude of different plugs, a multitude of different voltages. And depending on what model you buy, they have higher and higher wattages. The better model you get as you go up, sort of thing. They have little ones for netbooks that are, about 40 watts right up to 150 watts. And you say, well, so that's got me covered with laptops. What about iPads and stuff like that? Well, it's very easy as well. You get these things that they fit in your cigarette lighter plug. They're tiny. They're only like 3 inches long. And it just looks like a little thing that you plug into your cigarette lighter plug, which is what it is. Just like most cigarette lighter plugs. But instead of having a cable hanging out the end, it's just got a flat back and you've got USB plug. One of them, a very common one I see quite a lot of, has one plug, and that is a 1 amp USB plug, which is fine for iPhones and other smartphones, iPods, and just any sort of mobile phone in general. You can probably do normal, still photo digital cameras off it as well. And then they've got another one that's got 2 plugs, and one of them's a 1 amp plug, and the other one's a 2.1 amp plug, which is suitable for charging iPads, tablets, and stuff like that. So that's your USB charging taken care of. Oh yeah, a lot of your inverters, your mains inverters, Particularly your small ones I've noticed have, well, the one I've got, the Chinese one I've got there, that's got a USB plug on it as well to charge USB devices. Most of them output about 5 volt DC. That's, what they put out of these USB plugs. And the other one is internet. Well, it's quite simple. I use a 3G, and other people have got ones that are capable of 3G and 4G, and they're just a little USB dongle thing, just some little thing you whack in like a USB stick memory. With mine, I actually have it on a USB cable to keep it a bit away from the computer and keep any electromagnetic radiation or whatever you want to call it away from me. And what I have with mine is an antenna I bought, and there's a plug in the side of it that I can plug in and plug this antenna in. And the antenna sort of sits on a shelf in my room quite high up, and it gives me a lot better coverage as a result, because it's sort of patchy. It's good outside in the back of the house and in the front of the house, but actually in the house it's sort of, I've got an old trailer home full of wood, and I've got a brick chimney, and there's a few trucks and whatnot, and big trees, and these don't really do me too much good in regards to radio signals, so it's good to have that antenna. And you say, well, I want to have a Wi-Fi spot. Do I have to sort of have, a computer running the whole time to have Wi-Fi? Well, if you stick your nose into cell phone shops as often as I do, you'll know that several brands and several carriers sell these things which I think they're USB charged. I don't know exactly. I should have asked. But I've seen them in pamphlets and seen them under the glass in the counter there. And I've seen it at least 2 different phone carriers I know of, Virgin Mobile and Telstra. And what they are is they're like this little thing that's, they're sort of not terribly small. They're about 4 or 5 inches long, I suppose, and about at least 2 inches wide, and probably about, an inch deep, maybe 3/4 of an inch deep. And they are, of course, you've got to charge them up. I think it's USB charging. And you got a little chip that you put in, like a cell phone chip, and it's got a built-in antenna. I don't know if you can stick extension antennas on it like what I've got, but it basically creates a Wi-Fi hotspot, and you just turn the thing on this little switch, it's a little button it's got on it, turn it on, and it's got a little screen that lights up and tells you what the signal strength is and if it's connected properly and whatnot, and you can see, if it's, connecting or has connected to the internet, and what sort of a signal strength you're getting from the cell phone system, your 4G or your 3G. But it's basically a 3G or 4G modem with a built-in battery and a Wi-Fi adapter and a built-in antenna all in the one show. And that allows you to have a Wi-Fi hotspot wherever you take it. And anyone else who logs onto your Wi-Fi, they, use your 3G or maybe even 4G account, as a Wi-Fi hotspot. There are most video cameras that I've come across in regards to surveillance cameras also run on 12 volt. It just doesn't seem to end when it comes to electronics. Everything is sort of turning to USB charging, which is easily taken care of, and whatnot. You can get an equivalent thing that'll convert from 12 volt DC to whatever you've got. So electronics is going to be about the last thing that you've got to give up, because it is also some of the most efficient electrical things aside from lighting. I know of a certain tablet I was looking at getting. I've got fluorescent lights in this house that take 13 watts. This tablet took 21 watts. My laptop takes 65. And so, you know, and you pick up a kettle, okay, what's a kettle take? 2,200 watts. You want a car kettle, you're looking at least 200 watts. And then you sit there with your 1 cup or your 2 cups and you got to spend, you know, 10 or 15 minutes before it boils, sort of thing. That's for your 12-volt ones. But for your mains ones, you're looking at 2,200 watts. Hair dryers are, you know, 1,100 to 1,800 watts. You know, and you get like toasters, 1,200 watts, like, you know, for bread and that. And, you know, you get a tablet's 21 watts. And what? People are seriously thinking they're going to have to give that up before they give up everything else? No, you give up everything else before you give up the electronics, believe me. Take it from a man who's got like 200 odd videos on YouTube and lives off the grid, powering the whole bloomin' show on solar panels. You know, you can really do a lot with electronics off grid, believe me.